Okay, Hyundai Santa Fe with a P2010 and a P2015 intake manifold runner position sensor or intake manifold runner control circuit. So these are all intertwined. What we've found with this is that this P2010 is there permanently, P2015 comes on intermittently, but that is the one that triggers the engine light on the dash. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so if we come down just behind our auto trans dipstick here, if it's auto, next to the intercooler, you'll find the unit here on the side of the manifold. So this is it down here. Okay, a bit hard for the camera to focus at the moment, but yeah, we're going to see if we can get this unit off. There is a possibility that we've got a carboned up manifold stopping the runner flaps from moving, but we're going to start with seeing if we can get this off and seeing if it's the unit itself that's faulty. Okay, so we've just removed the battery, removed the airbox, and we can get down in here to our unit. 1, 2, and 3 bolts, and plug there. I've just undone the plugs in front of it, and this bracket here I'm just at this stage just bending it back out of the way. All it does is hold some plugs, so we'll see if we can get this off. I'm just not sure how our shaft is going to be attached in here, but we will find it. Okay, so here is our unit here. So that houses the sensor part as well as the actuation part, which is what's giving us our 2 separate codes. So that does just pull off the shaft. It's just got a lug drive, you know, like what you'd see on a distributor. So that's off there. You can then grab your shaft, into your shaft here, and just make sure it's free to move. Okay, this one is free to move. You can feel a bit of resistance there where there might be a bit of carbon build up in the manifold, but I think that the motor should be able to overcome that. It's not taking me a lot of effort to turn this. Okay, obviously you don't want to go and spin it right round and put it in the wrong position. Make sure you're putting it back in the position it was in, but I think it is worth trying one of these units for this one. Another note here, this has actually got a spring on this, so for this to turn in the direction that the motor is going to turn it, okay, because it can't turn that way, it takes more effort for this to overcome that spring. There's more resistance on that spring than there is on this runner flap, okay, by far. So if the motor is strong enough to turn this, it's easily going to be strong enough to turn that. So I'm pretty confident this is going to be our problem. We've just got the guys finding one for us now. We're going to try that. Okay, so we have fitted a second-hand unit to this. Speaking to the Hyundai dismantlers, they said they do sell these, but not on a common basis. So we've just gone with a second-hand one. Yeah, put it back in. Obviously you line that lug up, put your bolts in, and then plugs back together. Now we're just going to chuck our airbox and battery back in and see if our codes will. Okay, this is the part number in case you didn't catch it before. This is the part number for that part. Situation we had before was that the P2010 was always in here, so you would clear it as soon as you rescanned. That code would always come back. It was just the P2015 that was coming in after it had driven so far, but now with this unit on here, that P2010 is not coming back. Okay, so that's a good indication that we have kicked this, and I'm now going to take it for a decent long drive and just make sure we get no codes coming back in. So we've been for a big long drive now and we still have no fault codes. So if there was still a fault, I would expect us at least to have that P2010 coming back, but neither code is back, so we can be very confident that we have resolved this issue by replacing that unit. So if you have a Hyundai Santa Fe with a P2010 or a P2015 code, that is the unit that you want to tackle. Okay. So also just talking to the Hyundai specialist down the road, he said that these in the pre-2010, so this one's a 2008, they were the problem motor with carboning up the engine oil. So what happens is the injector seals leak. Okay, and because the way the motor's designed, there's a gap where the injector fits down through the head, which means that the leaking combustion past the injector seal leaks into the crankcase environment, and that causes the carboning up of the engine oil. What that will then do is block the oil pickup. Okay, and the first thing it'll do is it'll stuff a turbo, because it can't get the oil pressure up to the turbo, and that'll be closely followed by the rest of the motor, just from oil starvation. So if you have a customer with one of these, just advise them if the injector seals haven't been done. That's what we'll be advising this customer, that it's well worth doing those, and then really the sump should be pulled off, and check the oil pickup to just check that it isn't blocking up and clean any carbon that has accumulated on it. So that's something you can advise the customer. They're not necessarily going to do it, but at least you have given them that advice. So if anything happens down the track, you can say, yeah, well, we did have that discussion, and you chose not to do it. But yeah, common issue on these diesel Hyundais. So yeah, the guys down the road telling me that from 2010 onwards they resolved that issue, and you'll actually see a different design with where the injector fits down through the cylinder head, where that is all enclosed, to prevent that combustion getting through to the crankcase oil when injector seals leak. Okay, but yeah, just an extra tip there. But yeah, hope this has helped you out.
Okay, I hope that has helped you out today. Don't forget to click the like button and also click the subscribe while you're there. We've got a bunch of diagnostic solutions and tips and tricks for professional mechanics like ourselves, and also for the serious DIYers at home. So click that subscribe and the bell so you get notified, and we will see you in the next video.